Sing for 33 seconds, and something inside you begins to heal. This is not a metaphor. It's real vibration. It's the lost code that Thoth taught in the Egyptian temples, and that was hidden for millennia. Before any medicine ever existed, it was already known. The right sound activates an invisible healing field, and your own voice is the key. In the next few minutes, you're going to feel this happening, because science has already proven it. But Thoth knew it long before. The word in harmony moves worlds, and whoever knows how to vibrate no longer needs to search outside. You don't have to believe it. You just need to listen, feel, and sing. Stay with me until the end, because that's where the exact moment is when everything gets activated, and the healing begins while you watch. Sound is the bridge between the visible and the invisible. The one who chants with intention moves the spirit through matter. While the Egyptian initiates remained in absolute silence inside the dark stone chambers, something invisible began to happen. They didn't listen to music, didn't sing memorized lyrics, didn't seek distraction. They waited. They waited for the right sound. Because in ancient Egypt, sound was not entertainment. It was power. It was sacred technology. When the priest Jacob finally chanted the exact vibration, something inside the initiate's body rearranged itself. It was as if the spirit awakened in response to a call that came from before birth. These priests were not mere musicians. They were masters of frequency. Every sound that came out of their mouths had a specific purpose: to heal, to align, to awaken. They knew that the human body responded to vibrations like an ancient instrument. It wasn't a belief. It was a practice repeated for centuries. Because for them, every part of the body resonated within a specific range. The liver, the heart, the kidneys, the nerves. Everything vibrated. And when an organ got sick, it wasn't treated with external substances, but with sound. A precise sound. Directed, sung at the exact frequency of healing. Thoth wrote about this in the records that survived the collapse of Atlantis. When he descended to Egypt, bringing with him the principles of divine science, he taught the priests how to use sound not just to reorganize the tissues of the body, but to open invisible portals within the soul. He said that the flesh is only the outermost layer of being, and that the true field of transformation is on the vibrational plane, where the eyes cannot see, but the soul can feel. In the hall of Amenti, which he described as an interdimensional space beneath the earth, Thoth reported how he used pure tones, sounds chanted with vibrational geometry, to guide initiates into a state between worlds. It was in this state that they accessed forgotten memories, cleansed traumas from past lives, and received energetic upgrades that could even alter biological aging. But none of this was visible. The sound wasn't just heard, it passed through. It penetrated. It unlocked hidden layers of the energy field. And this explains why sacred sounds were only chanted during specific rituals, in specific spaces, and by people trained throughout their entire lives. The responsibility was so great that mistakes could collapse the vibrational field of the initiate instead of healing them. These sounds were transmitted orally for generations. They were never written in books, open to the public. They were codes, energetic passwords, and only those who were ready could absorb their effects. Thoth himself warned, "Whoever chants without awareness scatters their energy. But whoever chants with purity awakens the hidden fire within the soul, and that fire is real. It pulses at the center of your being. It lies dormant, waiting for a call, and that call can come from a single tone. What the ancients knew is that healing does not come from the outside. It is a reordering of what already exists within. And sound when chanted in the right way, doesn't insert something new into your body. It simply dissolves what is blocking the natural flow of your energy. You don't have to believe it. You just need to feel it. Because even if you don't know it, your body already knows these sounds. Your soul recognizes them. They have been imprinted on you since the very first time you set foot in this world. And the Egyptians weren't alone in this. While the Jikau chanted in the temples, another culture on the other side of the planet was also chanting their own sacred syllables. And when you realize what these distant traditions have in common, you understand it was never a coincidence. It was a plan, a legacy, a universal truth that spread across the earth. The universe was sung into existence. While the Egyptians were chanting sounds in the stone corridors on the other side of the world, the sages of India were already speaking of something even deeper. The entire universe was created by a sound. It wasn't shaped with tools. It wasn't built by hands. It was sung. The Vedas, the oldest recorded spiritual texts, describe the origin of the cosmos as the result of a primordial vibration. The sound didn't come after. It came first. It was the very act of creation. A formless tone that, as it manifested, generated light, form, movement, existence. And this sound, according to the Vedic sages, still vibrates now. It still pulses at the center of everything. This primordial sound is called Nada Brahma, the divine sound. The idea that the world is sound is not poetry. It is literally what they claimed. And this statement echoes exactly what Thoth taught to his most advanced disciples. According to him, the universe is the direct result of the vibration of the universal mind. A living intelligence that thinks in frequency, creates in sound, and manifests in energy. Thoth said that by understanding the sound of creation, humans free themselves from the prison of matter. Because this sound did not just create the world, it still organizes reality. He said, "Sound governs forms. The one who masters sound masters form, and the one who masters form walks between worlds as one with the gods." This is not a metaphor. This is coded language, passed down orally through the centuries, kept under strict secrecy. And all of this starts to make even more sense when you understand that this primordial sound is not outside of you. It vibrates within you right now. Your structure, your cells, your energy field. Everything responds to the original pattern of the sound that created the stars. Your body is a living score, each organ a note, each heartbeat a distant echo of that first sound. The Vedas also describe this sound as Om, not a word, but a universal vibration that resonates across all planes. When you chant Om with presence and inner silence, you're not just relaxing. You are making contact with the origin. You are vibrating in sync with what formed entire galaxies. It's as if the universe remembers who you are, and so do you. This memory doesn't come from the mind, it comes from the field. And that is why many who practice conscious chanting report feeling a deep calm, an inexplicable expansion, a clarity that goes beyond reason. It's not imagination, it's reconnection. The most impressive thing is that these bodies of wisdom, separated by oceans and thousands of years, said the same thing in different words. And when traditions that distant affirm the same truth, you have to start asking yourself why this was hidden. And more importantly, why were you never told this? But there's more. Because if the universe vibrates like a living song, then it is also capable of resonating with everything inside you. This means that if you're out of harmony, your body clashes with the music of the whole. But when you vibrate correctly, the universe responds. And this is where things start to get even more real. And when you realize that the universe was literally sung into existence, you can no longer ignore the truth that has been knocking on the door of modern science. For a long time, this was called mysticism, superstition, esoteric delusion. But physics, biology, and even medicine are beginning to reach the same conclusion. Everything vibrates. Everything is in motion. Everything responds to frequency. This statement is no longer confined to monks or ancient masters. Now it's in laboratories, scientific journals, peer-reviewed studies. And the most impressive part is that this validates, word for word, what Thoth was saying millennia ago. You are not solid. You are made of atoms. And these atoms are, for the most part, empty space. They are not fixed, immobile, unchangeable. They move all the time, vibrating at different speeds. And what determines how you feel, think, or even get sick is exactly the frequency at which these parts of you are vibrating. It seems simple, but it's devastating when you understand the impact of it. Because if everything in you vibrates, then everything in you can be reprogrammed. This is where science begins to surrender. A field called cymatics, for example, shows that sound can literally shape matter. A low, dissonant sound generates chaotic patterns. A harmonic sound, on the other hand, creates perfect geometric figures. This is visible, tangible, reproducible. You can place sand on a vibrating plate and see with your own eyes how different frequencies organize or disorganize that matter. Now think with me. If your body is made up of more than 70% water, and if sound has this power to organize matter, what happens when you are exposed to disharmonic sounds? Toxic noises, negative words, or worse, repetitive thoughts filled with fear, judgment, and scarcity. That is also vibration, and it's shaping you all the time. That's why in his Hermetic teachings, Thoth made it clear that everything is governed by law. And one of the most fundamental laws is the law of vibration. He stated that all imbalance arises from a disturbance in rhythm. Where there is no harmony, there is rupture. And where there is rupture, there is disease, conflict, stagnation. But he also said something even more powerful. All chaos can be reversed by restoring rhythm. And that rhythm can be accessed through sound. Seek the rhythm, and in it you will find life. Disharmonize the rhythm, and chaos will take form. This phrase attributed to Thoth is not poetic metaphor. It is an instruction manual hidden in plain sight, because it reveals the code behind all living systems. When the vibration is right, life flows. When it's wrong, energy gets stuck, and everything starts to decay. Modern science, without realizing it, is arriving exactly where the ancients already were. And the bridge between these two worlds is sound, because sound works where the eyes cannot reach. It reorganizes the energy field, stabilizes emotions, clears the mind. But more than that, it activates what is dormant inside you. And this is the moment when words must give way to experience. Because it's not enough to just know this is real. You need to feel it. You need to listen with your body. Let the vibration do what no thought can do. And when you experience this for the first time, you'll understand why so many sages spent their entire lives trying to preserve this knowledge. Your voice can start the healing now. And this is the point where everything changes. Because the healing that once seemed distant, mysterious, accessible only to masters or advanced technologies, was always inside you, literally inside. Not in another realm, not in another time. Here, now. And the instrument that activates this healing is closer than you think. It's your own voice. Your voice is not just sound. It's energy encoded with emotion, intention, and frequency. And most impactful of all, It carries the unique vibrational signature of your soul. When you speak with anger, the frequency vibrates in disharmony. When you speak with love, everything rebalances. Now imagine what happens when you sing with awareness, with presence, with clear intention. The vibration generated by your own voice begins to reorganize your internal field, as if tuning an instrument forgotten for centuries. This practice is not new. In fact, it's one of the oldest in the spiritual history of humanity. But it was forgotten, trivialized, ridiculed. Because the last thing the system wants is for you to discover that your own voice is a key, a tool, a portal. Thoth always made this clear. He said that sound chanted with purity is like a beam of light piercing the dense layers of matter, releasing trapped energy, removing blockages, and restoring the natural flow of life force. In his most secret teachings, he revealed that the word, when used in harmony with the heart's intention, becomes a higher spiritual technology, something that acts directly on the subtle levels of being where no medicine can reach. And when you chant the right sound for 33 seconds, something remarkable happens. The generated vibration begins to echo inside you. It finds the points that are out of harmony and starts to realign them. Your energy field responds immediately. The nervous system slows down. The mind falls silent. The body begins to release accumulated tension. And above all, you feel. You feel as if something has been unlocked, as if energy is flowing again through forgotten pathways. But it's not just any sound. It's not enough to sing anything and expect a miracle. There are specific sounds, precise vibrational codes passed down through generations of initiates and carefully guarded in the oldest spiritual traditions. They were not created on a whim. They were discovered through attunement, through direct connection with the higher plane. These sounds were used in temples, in healing rituals, in spiritual alignment practices. And not just in Egypt. They appear in different forms in the oldest cultures on Earth, and all point to the same thing. Your voice, when used with presence, becomes the most powerful healing instrument that exists. And this is exactly where the ancient and the modern meet. What was once chanted in secret rituals and guarded as a spiritual treasure is now starting to be rediscovered even by those who have never set foot in a temple. Neuroscience, physics, and vibrational medicine are beginning to point to something that the ancient masters already knew intuitively, that there are specific sounds capable of activating exact parts of your energetic body. And this isn't about belief, it's about vibration. Each energy center in your body vibrates at a unique frequency. These centers, which you might know as chakras, are not symbolic concepts. They are vibrational realities. They are like mirrors of deep aspects of your consciousness. When they are in harmony, everything flows. When they are blocked, everything gets stuck. And this is where sounds come in as keys. Keys that don't open external doors, but internal portals. Each seed syllable carries an ancestral vibration. Lam activates your sense of security. Vam awakens your pleasure and creativity. Ram strengthens your willpower. Yam accesses pure love. Ham opens your expression. Om awakens your inner vision. Ayum connects you to supreme consciousness. These syllables were not invented by anyone. They were perceived. They emerged from the deep silence of the sage's meditation. They were felt, not thought. And Thoth had already spoken of this thousands of years ago, in the inscriptions that survived time. He taught that the human being possesses 7 chambers of internal fire, and each one responds to a sacred vibration. When these vibrations are chanted in the correct order, with intention and presence, something extraordinary happens. An invisible staircase begins to form within you, a staircase made of sound. And it is through this staircase that consciousness begins to ascend. This staircase was called by him the path to the throne of higher consciousness. Not a physical throne, but a state of being where duality dissolves, where time slows, where fear loses its power. An inner space where the soul remembers who it is. That's why these sounds can't be chanted just any way. They need to be lived. When you chant Lam, you feel the base of your body vibrate. When you chant Vam, you feel the emotions move. With Ram, you feel warmth rise in the center of the abdomen. With Yam, the chest opens. Ham clears the throat. Om expands the forehead. And Aum creates a vibration that seems to echo beyond the body. It's as if each sound opens a new dimension. You can do this right now, sitting in silence, eyes closed, no rush, just chant, feel. Let the sound touch exactly where it needs to. And with time, you'll notice that something changes. It's not something you understand with the mind. It's something your entire field begins to sense, as if you're being tuned from within. This practice is a tool of access. It doesn't just unlock, it reveals. Because when the internal portals open, you begin to see beyond the senses. You start to realize that there is more life in you than what you show to the world. There are layers of energy, memory, spiritual power, dormant, but ready to awaken. The secret is among the sounds. And as this sound ladder is built within you, something begins to happen on an even deeper level. You're not just opening energy channels, you're accessing frequencies that work directly on cellular architecture. This is where science finally crosses the frontier that the ancient masters already knew. In particular, one specific frequency has been drawing the attention of researchers, vibrational therapists, and conscious musicians, 528 Hz. This frequency is not just relaxing. It has a real and measurable effect on the human body. Studies show that 528 Hz promotes cellular regeneration, the restoration of damaged DNA strands, and the strengthening of the human electromagnetic field's vibration. And even more impressive, you don't need expensive equipment or advanced technology to benefit from this. You can chant this frequency with your own voice. This is where Thoth's teachings shine with crystal clarity. He said there are sounds attuned to the pulse of the earth and the vibration of the sun, and that when these sounds are chanted in alignment with proper breathing and intention, the body enters a state of harmony that transcends matter. He called this frequency the key of the heart, a sound that not only heals but restructures, not only balances but awakens. The vibration of 528 Hz acts like a field of coherence. It organizes what was confused. It dissolves patterns of pain and re-establishes the original language of your cells. This means that your own tissues begin to remember how to regenerate, how to return to their natural state of perfection, before the traumas, before the conditioning, before the disconnection. And when this frequency is vocalized, the whole body responds. The energetic layers around your field expand. The breath deepens. The mind begins to slow down. It feels like you're coming home. It's not something understood with the mind. It's something you feel. It's as if the body says, "This is it. This is what I needed." But there's a detail that few people know, a detail that makes all the difference. Because vibration acts with force, but it's in the space that comes after the sound where the miracle truly settles. After you sing, after you vibrate, after you deliver the frequency, comes the silence. And in that silence, everything settles. The nervous system shifts from defense mode into deep repair. The energy that was blocked begins to distribute gently. The body listens. The soul listens. It is in that space between the sounds that ancient wisdom reveals itself with greater clarity. The Tibetan monks, for centuries, structured their chants in a way that honored not just the vibration, but the space between them. Because they knew that sound activates, but silence integrates. Sound awakens, but silence reveals. Thoth spoke of this with reverence. He said that silence is the guardian of power, and that between one word and another, that is where the spirit manifests. The gap between two notes is not absence, it is pure presence. It is where the magic descends to anchor itself in the body. And when you start to include that space in your practice, everything changes. Because you're not just creating sound, you're creating a field. And this field begins to store the new vibrational pattern. A pattern that communicates to your system. Now you are safe. Now you can heal. Now you can remember. Sing for 33 seconds and feel. And it is precisely in this subtle space between one sound and the next, in that silence filled with presence, that something begins to happen, something the mind can't explain. Because the more you sing with intention, the more you allow your own voice to resonate with your soul, the more a strange, familiar, almost indescribable sensation begins to emerge. It's as if something that was buried very deep inside starts slowly rising. It's not just well-being. It's not just relief. It's memory. Yes, memory. But not from childhood, not from this current life. It's a memory that doesn't come from the brain, but from the field, from the spirit. As if every note you chant is decoding forgotten files. As if the vibration starts to dissolve a fog that has long prevented you from seeing who you really are. Thoth said that the soul carries, like a living mirror, all the vibrational impressions from its passages through different existences, and that the human voice, when used consciously, is the only thread that can access these layers. He taught that there are sounds that not only reorganize the physical body, but also reactivate the soul's original memory field. Sounds that make you remember what was forgotten at birth, what was veiled so the experience of matter could be possible, but that now is ready to emerge. And this memory doesn't come in words. It comes as sensations, a tightness in the chest that dissolves into peace. A lump in the throat that turns into expression, an old pain that simply leaves. Each vocalization, each chant made with truth acts like a portal, an unlocking, a silent but profoundly transformative cleansing. You're not just healing the body, you're bringing light back to parts of yourself that were dimmed. You're reviving aspects of your spiritual identity that were dormant. And that's why many, when practicing these sounds, feel the urge to cry without knowing why, or feel chills, or have scattered memories that seem to come from nowhere. That is real. That's what happens when sound penetrates the deepest layers of the being. This isn't about learning a technique, it's about remembering who you are. And with each note, with each repetition, you begin to notice something that can no longer be ignored. Your soul is responding. Something inside you is coming back. Something that was always there, but was waiting for the right moment to awaken. And that moment has come. Because now that the energy is activated, the field is open, and the sound has already started doing its silent work, there's only one thing left: for you to step into full presence and sing. Not just sing for the sake of singing, but sing as if your life depends on it, as if it were a wordless prayer, a pure act of reconnecting with what is essential, a gesture of absolute surrender. Sit with your spine straight, turn off any distractions, breathe deeply. And when your body is full of air, release it in the form of sound. Vocalize Om, not just with your lips. Feel the sound vibrating in your chest, your throat, your skull. Feel the resonance touching places you can't reach with thought. Stay there, present, vibrating for 33 seconds. No more, no less. This time is symbolic. 33 seconds is the minimum time needed to stabilize a new vibration in your subtle field. It's enough time for the sound to bypass the mind and reach the core of your consciousness. It's in that time that the key turns, that the code clicks into place, that the energy that was scattered begins to organize. Don't worry about perfection. What matters is presence, intention, surrender. Let the sound come out of you as if it were a calling, a reminder, an internal embrace. And at the end of the 33 seconds, remain in silence. Just feel. Just listen to what your body is saying, what your soul is revealing. It may seem subtle, but something will shift. Something already has. Om is not just any sound. It is the vibration of creation. It is the fundamental note of existence. And when you sing it consciously, you're not just emitting a sound. You're joining that primordial frequency. You're dissolving the separation between who you are and who you've always been. This is the living wisdom of Thoth pulsing inside you, not as a concept, but as a direct experience. And now that you've felt it, now that you've vibrated, now that you've activated it, there's no going back to what you were before. If you've made it this far, it's because something inside you is awakening. Write in the comments, "My healing begins with sound." This will strengthen your intention even more and activate the collective vibrational field we are building together. If you want to help this channel spread more content like this, there is a way to contribute directly through the first pinned comment. This helps us keep this frequency alive and reach more people who are ready to remember who they truly are. And don't leave yet. A special video has already been set aside for you to continue this journey. Click now on the screen and I'll meet you there. The next step of your reconnection begins right there.